Welcome back to the In the Clinic podcast with Rob. And if you are wondering how to get the best outcome after your total knee replacement, then this is the podcast for you. So overall, we've had a ton of people that over the years have had total knee replacements. And if you're sitting there and you're wondering about your family member, your father, your grandfather, a friend that's having a total knee replacement soon, and you've heard that these are hard rehabs, they're hard to get full recovery, and some people don't always have a successful outcome, then again, this is your topic today. So before we dive into it, I just want to remind people, my name is Rob Sumner, owner of Sumner Specialized Physical Therapy and Specialized Strength. I really do all these videos solely because there are a ton of people out there in pain, and I don't want you to be one of them. So if any way this video or podcast helps you and improves your life, then bang, I'm pumped and I'm excited about it. So with that, let's get into it. You know, the total knee replacement is one of your primary replacements. You know, rarely do you see people have a double knee replacements at the same time. They usually don't do those too much anymore unless you have a lot of health-related issues and they don't think you're going to make it through 2 surgeries. But the total knee replacement is really saved for the individual that's had such a high level of pain to the knee that it limits their walking, their ability to stand for long periods of time, getting up and out of a bed, chair, other. So when you're thinking about a total knee replacement, if it's right for you, once you get to a point where you cannot continue to advance in your life the way that you want to because of this disability, and you're starting to self-limit by not participating in things socially, yeah, that's really your time. So today we're really going to get into how do you guarantee the best outcome after your total knee replacement. And this is really a hard-hitting topic because, man, I've seen a ton of people that didn't get the outcome that they wanted. Some of them were my patients. Some of them I treated. And the thing about physical therapy is it's truly a partnership. It's a partnership in the rehabilitation process. And with that partnership, it is very clear to me that we need to press upon our patients who are naive to outcomes and function and surgeries. They come to us for our expert advice to give them the outcome that they want. So it's really important that we press upon them all the information and all the facts so that they know the consequence of their action or inaction. So with the total knee replacement, there's a couple checks that we go through every time to make sure that people are guaranteed the outcome that they want. And the first check that we do and we press upon is motion to the knee. We've got to get the knee as straight as possible and bent as far back as possible as soon as possible. That's really the key. Because individuals that cannot regain the range of motion to their knee to these levels of around 0 degrees completely straight to about 125 in bending, they really continue to have a lifetime of disability from that knee. They're the individuals a year later are coming back to the clinic saying, geez, I don't know why, but my knee's still hurting. It's still achy. It's still bothering me, and I don't know why. And then I go back and look at their chart. It's because they didn't finish their complete rehab. They stopped early as soon as they got their motion, and they started being able to walk and do some of their normal daily activities. Or you have the individual that comes in and their knee is still bent. When they try and walk, they have a little bit of a limp because they were never able to push through and gain the full range of motion that they should have to their knee. Now here's the thing, we have certain responsibilities as physical therapists to guide people, to provide hands-on treatment, to give them the best range of motion to their knee. But if you look at the hour that they spend in our clinic 2 to 3 times per week, compared to the 23 hours that they're with themselves at home, or other, that time outside the office is pivotal. So truly what I'm going to give you today is our recipe that we give to our patients to guarantee that they're going to get the range of motion outcomes that they want, which really jumpstarts the rehab process to give them the best outcome 5, 10, 15 years later. Gaining that range of motion right from the get-go is essential, and this is how we do it. So the first thing that we do is we talk to the individual about the importance of their range of motion. Just like I've just mentioned previously, I won't go through it again, but that's the first thing that we go through. People really need to know the gravity of the situation, that if they don't regain their range of motion, they could have lifetime disability from this. So it's important that we're consistently pushing through the parameters that we give them at home to gain the motion necessary to be able to push to other levels in strengthening, balance, coordination. So the first thing that we go into is their range of motion. We have certain goals. We need them within the first 6 weeks to get 0 to 125 degrees. That's our first goal. The second goal is for them to start developing a good quad contraction. That's a muscle in the front of their thigh, and to demonstrate that they can accept weight onto their leg with a normal gait pattern. In that first 6 weeks, we want to get people back to eating a regular diet, preferably proteins. And that's important when I say preferably proteins, because those are the building blocks for muscles, tissue repair, and other. And what just happened to your total knee? They completely cut the bone off both sides and rammed a metal component into the joint on both sides. And they had to push and pull a lot of tissue out of the way, muscle, ligament, connective tissue, to get to it. Think you're going to be sore? Oh yeah. You think you're going to need a repair process from the body to start building those tissues back to normal levels? Yep. So that protein is going to be important for the building blocks to those tissues. But you want to get back to a normal diet, because a good caloric diet will also give you the energy that you need so that you can continue to push in your range of motion exercises and just general stamina overall. If you're too weak and you're tired all the time and you can't really advance with the exercise that you need to, it's going to really limit your ability to be successful with your range of motion to the knee. The last little bit is pain management. Pain management is critical. It is critical. And I know that a lot of the narcotics are being really reduced, which is good. A lot of people became addicted to narcotics, but they are also an effective pain reliever. So in order to gain the amount of motion that you need to be able to manage your pain. And that may be that you take your narcotics the way that they're prescribed. Once you get to a point where you don't need to continue to take narcotics and you can get away with an over-the-counter Tylenol, then good. But if you can't push your range of motion in the way that you need to because you're developing pain to the knee with every push and it's unrelenting and you're not able to push through your range of motion the way you need to, you're going to have a poor outcome. So taking your pain medicine might be the essential tool that helps you gain that motion initially. And the last little bit of sleep. We really talk about sleep because without proper rest, without proper energy levels, then you're going to get fatigue mentally as much as physically. It takes a lot to sit at home and keep pushing your range of motion into pain to give yourself a better function 6, 10, 12 weeks to years later. So it's important that you're getting good quality sleep. And I hear this all the time. Well, my nurse at the hospital said I can't sleep with a pillow under my knee because it's going to create a contracture. Maybe. Yep. But what's going to also create a contracture is the fact that you're not able to push your range of motion the way that you need to because you're too stinking fatigued at home and you have zero energy, so you're not doing your exercises anyways. So here's the thing. It might be counterintuitive to some of you. Some individuals might not agree with my approach, but I tell my patients, sleep however you want. If you're going to put a pillow under your knee, do it. Because if that gives you comfort and allows you to sleep up to 8 hours, great. Because you know what we're going to do for the next 16 hours that you're awake? You're going to push that range of motion to get the knee as straight as possible, but also as bent as possible. And having that energy from good nutrition, eating preferably more proteins, by advancing your sleep, you're going to have energy. Heck, your pain might even come down because you're not as stimulated. And now you can push your range of motion that you need to. Because if you're for 16 hours doing everything that you need to, in 8 hours you're not, overall you're going to win. You're going to win. You're going to gain your range of motion, and you're going to advance forward in your rehab. So if you need to put a pillow under your knee while you're sleeping for comfort so you can get a good night's sleep, do it. But don't do it while you're sitting in the recliner. Don't do it when you're awake and you're watching television. At that point, we want to try and keep the knee as straight as possible. So let's get into that. So what are we talking about with range of motion? We're talking about the bend and the straight. That's pretty much it for the knee. Which one is going to create more havoc in your life if you don't gain all the motion? Is it the straight or the bend? Yeah, it's the straight. And the reason is that it only takes a loss of 5 degrees in the straightening of your knee. If you lose 5 degrees, it's going to keep it in a flex posture, which means you're not going to walk normal, because more than 5, your knee goes to about 5 as it advances through. Anything more than 5, it's going to start creating a limp. So you're going to walk abnormally. You're going to start getting hip and back pain. The knee's going to wear out faster. The prosthetic is. And then also, you're going to fatigue a lot faster because you can't lock that knee out. So you're going to sit there and stand with the bent knee all the time, which means you're going to shift it onto the other side, which fatigues out that side faster, or you're going to shift it onto the involved side, that surgical side, and then you're going to fatigue really fast. So either way, you're going to have a poor outcome. So the key is we need to make sure that your knee stays 100% straight. So while you're awake and you're not doing anything and you're watching, Gunsmoke, you need to roll up a towel and put it under the heel. Whether you're in a recliner, on the couch, on your bed, put it under your heel so there's space under your leg that just gravity keep forcing that knee down. And that's important because you need to have good range of motion to the knee in extension, and that's going to help it. But you're going to start getting an ache on the back part of the knee. And when you start getting that ache, that's your sign to just take it and lift it off to the side and rest for a minute or two. And then bring it back on until you get the ache. And you're just going to keep going back and forth throughout the day. The other part you can add is an ankle pump. And that's where you just take your ankle and you pump it back and forth. And like I tell people, if you like breathing, then do your ankle pumps. Because without it, you're at a high risk for blood clot, which means any pooling blood or stopped blood is clotting blood. That blood needs to keep flowing throughout your body or else it's going to clot. So you're at a high risk for it right now because you're not as mobile as normal. So by doing those ankle pumps, it's going to contract the muscles in the lower leg, which then is going to contract against the arteries and the veins. It's going to contract against the veins that run up through those muscles, which then pushes the blood back to your heart, through your lungs, gets recirculated and keeps it moving. But if you're staying on your back a lot and you're just hanging out, you're not pumping your ankles, you're not going to get that blood return. So the third step that you need, so we went through range of motion and extension, so getting the knee straight. We just went through ankle pumps to keep you breathing well. And the last little bit is to improve the bend. So how do we improve the bend? We sit in a chair, regular sized chair that has a back to it and preferably armrests. You're going to slide your buttocks all the way to the back of the chair. And at that position, you're going to take your foot that's on the ground, it needs to be on the ground, and you're going to slide it back under your chair until you feel just mild tightness. Just mild tightness. We don't want a great level of tightness. We just want mild tightness. And if we get that mild tightness, that's your starting point. Your foot stays still at that point. It doesn't move anymore. And what you're really looking to do at this point is to start scooting the butt forward. So now you're going to scoot the butt forward. So the foot's planted on the ground. You've already bent the knee behind you a little bit so that you have a little bit of tension. It takes up the slack. And now you're going to use the handrails or the arm rests on the chair, and you're going to use that to push against and slide your butt forward. The key, though, is that your butt has to stay on the chair. Don't lift it up. Some people want to. Another cheat you can do as well is you could take a plastic garbage bag, you can put it under your buns, and that helps slide against the chair even easier so you don't stick to it, and then it's easier to slide forward and slide back. So at this point, you're going to slide forward, hold for 10 seconds, then slide back and hold for 10 seconds, then slide forward and hold for 10 seconds, and you're going to do that repeatedly about 15 times. And the reason that we go for 10 seconds is because I need you to really push for a good 10 seconds. I need a really strong push. I can't have you just go halfway. And just, kind of aches, kind of it's tight. No, you've got to push to where it's really uncomfortable. And then after 10 seconds, you're out of there for 10 seconds. So you're going to do 15 of those at a time, and then you can get up and move it around. Then you can start advancing and walking around, going to the bathroom. But you get a 5-minute break. After your 5-minute break, you come back and you do it again. Another 15 reps, on and off, on and off, on and off. Then you get a 5-minute break, and then 15 more. So you're doing 3 sets of 15 with a 5-minute break in between them. And guess what? That's just your morning session. That's just your morning session. So you're going to do that in the morning. We have people do that before lunch and dinner. So before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's to get the bend in the knee. That's the best way that we've found to get people their bend in their knee. So outside of that stretching, then you're keeping the knee straight. You're really keeping the knee straight so that you can maintain the straightness of the knee that should have been there from the moment you got out of surgery. So those are the first steps. We want to get the knee as straight as possible. We want to get up to 125 degrees of bend as quick as possible. We want you to eat a nutritious diet, back to your regular one, preferably increasing proteins. You got to get good sleep. You can sleep however you want, but you got to get good sleep for energy levels. You got to stay up on your pain management, whether it be over the counter or prescription, but you got to stay up on that so you can push the way that you need to. So all in all, if you follow these principles, the patients that we've seen in our clinic, the ones that follow those are the ones that get the best outcomes. Because once you can gain that range of motion, everything accelerates forward. Then you can start working on quad control. You can start working on your walking pattern. You can start doing balance training, lower leg strengthening. And then for us, with our training facility that we have here on site, we eventually bring you over here and you start working on pushing, pulling, carrying, lifting, strengthening, weight training. Anything that we need to get you back to what you love in your life. For some, it might be something as simple as gardening. For others, it might be chopping wood. But the whole purpose of everything that we're doing is to advance you in those areas. So all in all, again, these are the best tips that we found for our patients to guarantee that they're going to get range of motion to the knee. To guarantee that they're going to have a favorable outcome. Because it's a rare day that individuals that get full range of motion to their knee within that first 6 weeks ever have a lifetime of disability and pain to the knee. They usually do very well and they start advancing right from there. So what next? Next we build in the strengthening, balance training, because the overall long-term outcome and success of this total knee replacement will be predicated on the strength of the quadriceps and those upper thigh muscles. The stronger those muscles are, people have a greater level of stamina. They can go up and down stairs the way that they want to. They can squat. They can truly live their life without compromise if you gain all of your strength. So individuals that stop short, that, hey, I'm walking fine, I can pick things up off the floor, my knee doesn't hurt all the time, those individuals that don't complete their physical therapy or they don't do the diligence on it, where they're doing their home program, they're consistently focused on building strength, those are the individuals that also come a year later and start complaining about how their knee hurts. And when you look at their two thighs, their surgical side is way smaller than their other side because they never truly gained the strength that they needed to their knee. So don't be like those individuals. If you've had a total knee replacement and you're scheduled for one, or you're a family member that's going to have a person that you care about with a total knee replacement, it's pivotal that they start gaining that range of motion, and it's pivotal that they complete a full rehabilitation program that builds strength to the thigh muscles to give them the best outcome in 10 years. The whole purpose of doing this surgery is to give individuals hope. And the hope is that their disability and pain will be lost, and they'll regain a ton of function, which helps their social life. So if you have somebody that you care about in your life, or if you're that person that's having a knee replacement, complete it all. Gain your range of motion the way you need to, and gain all of your strength, because if you care about your future self and you want to give the best to your future self, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. So again, my name is Rob Sumner, owner of Sumner Specialized Physical Therapy, Specialized Strength. And again, I hope that this video today and podcast truly helped you go through your rehabilitation process for a total knee replacement and give you the best possible outcome. So if it helped anybody out there today, man, I'm super pumped about it. And feel free to leave me a comment. You can even subscribe to the YouTube video that this will be played on, as well as our podcast. Feel free to write a review and let us know how we're changing lives by helping people through their rehabilitation process. So all in all, enjoy the day. Hopefully you're staying safe out there, and I'll see you on the flip side.